Hi there, and welcome to Studio SN. My name is Sara Naumann, and today we're going to be paper piecing with stamps from My Sentiments Exactly. I love paper piecing as a way to give color and dimension to stamped images, and it is such a fun and easy technique to do. So let's take a look. You can see on the front of my card, this stamped image has been layered with lots of different colors of cardstock. So I first stamped my little flying bear with black ink onto white cardstock, and then stamped again a couple of different times on different colors of cardstock to layer everything up so that you have lots of fun different color and dimension. So let's first of all start with the base layer, our stamped image, and this is what we're going to be layering everything up onto. So you can see that cute little bear with his balloons. All of this is one image. Now, the stamps that I'm working with are from My Sentiments Exactly, and this is the Up and Away bear balloon. So you can see one large image and then lots of sentiments on here. Now, to stamp this, I've simply stamped it onto a smooth white cardstock. So I'm going to show you this process here. Here's my white cardstock. Now, one thing I do really like to use is my stamp positioner. This is not a requirement though. If you have a large enough acrylic block, that will work just fine too. This is the Rare Earth Load and Fold, which I'm really liking, and it just does help to get my stamps perfectly stamped, and also helps with the leverage, I think, a little bit. Sometimes with these larger images, you can really benefit from that. So what I've done here is place down one piece of cardstock onto one side of this hinged tool. So it looks a little bit like a CD case almost. And then what I'm going to do is take my clear acrylic stamp. So I just peel off that stamp. You can see it's well used. It's a little bit stained, which is fine. It's not going to hurt the stamp. You guys know with one side of the stamp it's going to be smooth, and the other side has the detail, the embossed raised edges on here, which is your actual stamping portion. So you're going to take that raised side and place it down onto the white cardstock, and you just kind of position the stamp wherever you want it to go. Then close this up, press gently, and you'll kind of pick up the stamp on the other side. And then what I like to do is just press it down with my hands to make sure that it's on there firmly. I'm stamping with a black ink. This is the VersaFine. This is an Onyx Black. And I'll just tilt that lid off and come in here and ink up my stamp. Make sure it's really well inked. And then what I can do is simply close this up and press. This is a really nice tool to have on hand, by the way, for larger stamps like this one, but also if you just have a hard time pressing down, maybe if you have any weakness in your hands or your wrists, that can help. So then what I can do is just peel and lift this off, and I have my little stamped image. So then I'm just going to undo the tape, and the washi tape is a low tack tape, so it's not going to be too fussy or too hard to peel off. And then I have my stamped image, so I'm ready to layer him up now. So what I've done then is stamped him again several times with lots of different cardstock. So I've stamped him with blue cardstock on blue cardstock because I wanted two of the balloons. I also wanted this little seat down here that he's sitting on to be blue. I've stamped him on green because I wanted the balloon, one of the balloons, and then also his scarf. I wanted that to be green. I stamped him on yellow to get one of the balloons. Now in this case, you'll notice I didn't stamp the entire image. I just stamped a portion of it. And this is great if you're just using up your cardstock scraps and you don't want to use a whole sheet of cardstock for it. And then I've also stamped just the bare portion onto craft cardstock. Now, one little tip I've discovered when I was cutting things out, it really does help if you're using cardstock that is not too thick of a weight. Now this craft card is pretty heavy. It's maybe a 230 GSM. It's a sturdy weight, and that can get a little bit difficult when trimming around some of those detail areas. It's not quite so hard with simple shapes like the balloons, but with some really small areas, detail areas, it's just best to go with a lighter weight cardstock. So then what I can do is cut out all of the various parts and pieces that I need. And I know it's kind of boring to watch somebody cut things out, so I've already done all of that for you. So I'm going to show you what I have. I've got the bear just as himself. I've got a yellow balloon, and the blue balloons as well. those two. I have the green balloon, and then I have some smaller accent pieces. Now, one thing I always like to recommend when you're doing paper piecing or small fiddly bits, use the sticky side of a sticky note, and you can tack down those elements. That just helps them to not get sort of swept away in your crafting area. So that's a great way, especially if you have to stop from time to time in the middle of your work. So I have all of these parts and pieces here, and then what I can do is start to glue everything together. You can use whatever adhesive you like. I'm using a regular glue stick for this one. And what I'll do is just add some glue right onto the cardstock, just in the areas where I'm going to be putting things down. I do recommend that you do not use like a wet adhesive, a liquid adhesive, because that can be really messy when you start layering things down. So I'm just going to pop down the bottom here, his seat, and then just start working my way back up. So I'll put him down himself, and I'm just following the lines of my original stamped piece. Make sure he stays on there. I'm going to save his scarf for the last, but I'll come back with the balloons and get some of those aligned in here as well. If you find that you didn't cut perfectly around some of the edges on here, you can also take a black pen or even an ink pad and kind of come around and refine some of those edges if you want to. And then hit the balloon here and position that, scoot that around. Now for his scarf, what I'll do is just pick it up gently, get another little piece of scrap paper on here, and then once again, just a little bit of glue stick on here. And place that down just right on top. And he just looks so cute with all of his balloons. Now you can also, if you wanted to, now I'm using the regular glue stick, if you wanted to have some of those balloons added up with a bit of foam mounting tape, that will give some dimension to it too. So that's another fun option for you as well. So let's take a look again at the original card, and I'll show you what I've done to put it together. I've kept it really simple, really bright, and really cheerful, and I've just used the rest of that cardstock for the mounting. So I've got black, green, yellow, white, and a little bit more black. Wrapped that with a ribbon, some baker's twine here on the corner, and added a bow, and then put it up onto craft cardstock to match with the bear. Now I've also got a sentiment on here. This is also part of the same stamp set from My Sentiments Exactly, and they always have really fun sentiments that you can use for the outside as well as for the inside of your card. So this is how quick and easy it is to add paper piecing to your stamped images. I really hope you enjoyed today's show. Thank you so much for joining me on Studio SN. If you like the video, I invite you to subscribe to Studio SN on YouTube, and I'll keep you updated with a new video every month. For more ideas and inspiration, please stop by my website at saranaumann.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter. Again, thank you so much for joining me on Studio SN, and I'll see you again next time.